Legends, what's up? It's Darkmech here, and the Mage Tower's back. Patch 10.05 brought the Mage Tower back, and with it, that longingness, that urge inside for that fell bear skin. So if you were struggling with this in Shadowlands and you gave up hope, I urge you to pick up that torch again and ride back to the tower in Dragonflight. The Guardian Druid challenge in Dragonflight is substantially easier than it was in Shadowlands, and I'm not dismissing it. You still have to play it well and things like that, but it is now more achievable. If you were on the cusp in Shadowlands, please go back. The idea of today's video is I'm going to walk you through the Mage Tower in patch 10.0.5 with the new talents. I'm going to use only Dragonflight gear, no consumables. I'm not going to hit any orbs, and you don't have to do that. So you can make this fight even easier again. There's the socket gear from Siege of Orgrimmar. If you don't have a time walking set, you can go to Siege of Orgrimmar on Mythic. The new scaling in the tower is item level 120. Siege of Orgrimmar is dropping item level 126 gear on Mythic, and you can get a whole bunch of sockets, which you can gem with agility gems, which can make your life easier in the tower if you need that little extra boost. There's also trinkets like the Ravaged Seed Pod, the one from Hellfire Citadel from Iska. There's a lot of things that you can do to really give yourself a little extra boost if you are needing it. I do have guides on the channel to all the Mage Towers with full descriptions around consumables and things like that from Shadowlands that do still hold up in Dragonflight, but today's one is it's back. Here's how to do it. Here's the talents I used. And if you gave up hope, please renew it and go back because it is really achievable now. So with all that out of the way, let's get into the video, walk you through this, and let's get that Fellbear. Okay, gamers, let's go over the commentary and get you your Fellbear skin. Now, this run here is on my level 63 Druid. I haven't been bothered to level it in Dragonflight yet. I'm doing it as level 63. I'm in my Shadowlands gear. You can see it all right here, 120, which is what you get scaled to in the Mage Tower, but this is all just Shadowlands stuff, and a blue polearm I've picked up while I've started leveling. I don't have access to all the talents, but it is more than enough to do this challenge here. Remember, there are things that you can do in this challenge if you are struggling to make life easier for yourself. That's things like going back to Siege of Orgrimmar on Mythic and farming through and getting a bunch of that socket gear to fill with primary stats for a bit of extra damage. There are certain trinkets you can use, the Ravaged Seed Pod from the first boss in Emerald Nightmare, Iska's trinket from Hellfire Citadel. If you've got the heirloom trinkets from WoD like Infallible Tracking Charm or Grondtooth Warhorn, things like that can make your life substantially easier in here if you need that edge. I do have a full Guardian Druid guide from Shadowlands where I cover all the old time walking enchants and consumables that you can use to get juice in this. If you need that extra edge, go back and check that out. Otherwise, I'm just going to walk you through it on this. This is no consumables and no orbs on this one. I'm trying to make it as bare bones as I can so you can add in these things to help you if you need that extra push. Now, talents wise, looking at my Druid here, it's level 63, so I don't have access to all the talents. A couple of things that I would like if I had extra points is an extra charge of survival instincts here. 2 charges would be really nice to manage your annihilate management. The big important talents to have are things like incapacitating roar. This is huge in shutting down the ads and is something that's pretty much required. You need Skull Bash. Typhoon is a fantastic second interrupt or a little gap creator with the ads. Vortex also comes in real handy. Renewal is great in having a sort of clutch heal that you can lean back on. And Heart of the Wild is great for a little bit of extra juice, same as the Boomy Path down here, though it's not overly required. The biggest things on the right side of the tree here are the Moonfire talents. These are absolutely huge to have. Rage of the Sleeper is amazing for knocking down the ads really quickly as well. And as I mentioned, if you had the extra point, a second point in Survival Instincts, absolutely poggers in the chat. So these are the talents that I ran with. I am level 63. This is what I had access to. One more thing to note as well, make sure you don't zone into the tower in bear form. If you do that, Thrash and Swipe won't work. You have to zone in a different form and then switch into bear. So, scenario starts, Twisting Nether, Varus comes into the middle, and straight away you can see that there is a black death and decay like circle around Varus. This is called Aura of Decay. So when you enter this, which I will in a second, at the moment I'm pretending that I know what to do in Boomy form. I've pressed Heart of the Wild and I'm going, I don't even have the buttons set up. I'm just pressing things at the moment, waiting for Drain Life to go off, trying to get a little bit of juice out of this. and then Varus is going to cast Drain Life. I'm going to switch into bear form, go in and interrupt, and then I'm going to start bear rotation where I have a bit more of an idea about what I'm doing. So I enter Aura of Decay, the big bad black circle around Varus. When I enter, I start getting stacks of Aura of Decay. This reduces your maximum HP per stack by 10%. The safe point to go to is around 4 to 5 stacks. When you hit 4 to 5 stacks, you need to get out of the Aura of Decay, wait the 10 seconds for the debuff to drop off, and then you rinse repeat. Whilst this is going on, Varus will be casting Mind Rends. It's an interruptible cast that deals decent damage. Honestly though, as long as you don't go too high on your Aura of Decay stacks, you're not going to have any issues with this. Just don't sink Skull Bashes into interrupting it. If you really need to, you can use something like an In-Cap Roar or a Typhoon to interrupt it, but make sure you save your Skull Bash or you save something for Drain Life. Now, Drain Life was the first cast that I was waiting for on the outside. It is exactly as you would picture it. It's a cast that drains your life. If one tick gets off, it's not the end of the world. If a full cast gets off, you may as well jump off and start again, as it's a fair waste of time. You could still do it, it's just a waste of time. You can see these little nether horror ads that come out. These spawn from little shadowy windows around the encounter space. These ads are called nether horrors. They spawn during phase 1 and phase 2 of this encounter. When they hit you, they put a stacking debuff on you called Psi Talons, and it increases your arcane damage taken by 10% per stack. They will then cast a thing called Nether Storm, which is large pulsing arcane damage. You do want to make sure that you kill them quite quickly, as the stacks build up fairly fast, and if you stand there whilst they're doing a Nether Storm and you don't interrupt it with an In-Cap Roar, you will be in a bit of trouble. However, you can just press Rage of the Sleeper and absolutely melt through them like I just did then. Lastly, you've got these little tormenting eyes that will spawn around the platform, and they will lock onto you with a little green laser beam. Once they finish this inquisitive stare, which you can see counting down, if you are not facing the eye in which you are being laser beamed by, you will get punted back, and there's a good chance that you could get punted all the way through the wardrobe and out to Narnia and off the platform. You can, however, just easily moonfire them and clap them really quick and not have to worry about them at all. They do despawn in phase 2, but you may as well just run around and moonfire them whilst you're waiting for your Aura of Decay to drop off. So that's pretty much it with that one. I'm just swapping out into Boomy form to cast Sunfire whenever I'm dropping my stacks of Aura of Decay. Last thing to mention are these Infernals. These will land on the platform, and when they get in range of you, they will do this giant frontal. Now, you will be dealing with them through phase 1 and phase 2. They don't actually need any damage. They actually kill themselves. You can see as they're pulsing, it's radiating fell damage and it's killing itself as it does it. All you need to do is let them kill themselves. By all means, you can absolutely dot them up. Here's something that I do really want to show you quickly here. So this was the In-Cap Roar on the ads. Now, you used to have to time this. You used to have to wait until this Nether Storm actually went off and started channeling before you hit your In-Cap Roar. Now, Blizzard have made it. Well, they actually changed this in Shadowlands as well. You can just hit it on the wind up and they won't recast it. So Nether Storm is about to go off. In-Cap Roar, no recast, target dummies, dead, dead, dead. Nice and simple. So make sure as soon as you see that going off, you just hit your In-Cap Roar. You don't have to worry about it. Now, here comes the Drain Life. So I'm out of range here. Now this was for Paga, okay? So I'm out of range. I'm in Boomy form, right? Because I'm a Rockstar Boomy. I went to Typhoon it to interrupt. I didn't have Typhoon on my Boomy bar. So I'm like, I switch into bear form, a tick gets off and I Typhoon it to interrupt. Once again, if a tick goes off, it's not the end of the world. Eyes coming up, just getting a Moonfire on them, waiting for my Aura of Decay stack to drop off. Back in I go, and just melting Varus down. So I'm nearly at the end here. I'm gonna hop out here because one thing you don't really want to do is go through to Cruel with 50% less HP. You can see here, every time on these Infernals, when you get into range with them, they'll cast this smash. Infernals are pretty easy to manage. Don't get so overwhelmed by them and really, concerned in your brain. When the Infernal gets near you, bait the Infernal, okay? So I'm going to stop here. It's going to cast, and then I'm just going to get out of the way. So don't make them into being more in your brain than they sort of have to be. Now, I went in and interrupted that. I could have Typhooned it, so now I'm on Cruel with 60% less HP, but it's only for a couple of seconds and it's not going to be the biggest issue. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to blow Incarn, and I am just going to go biggie chungus on Cruel. Now Cruel does a couple of things that we need to cover off. So the first one we're going to cover off is what's happening on the screen right now, which is Annihilate. So Cruel is going to hit you with stacks of Annihilate. It's a large physical damage hit, and it puts a debuff on you, and it increases the damage of all subsequent Annihilates that you take. You need to have a plan around how you're going to manage the Annihilates, but keep in mind you're probably only going to take 3 or even 2 if you're using the orbs throughout this. So what I would do is I'd take the first one with Iron Fur, I'd take the second one with Barkskin, sorry, and then I'd take the third one with Survival Instincts. And then if you're max level, you will have another charge of Survival Instincts, and you could throw a Rage of the Sleeper in there for good measure as well, if you wanted to, unless you were sinking it in on the ads. Cruel will also do a Nether Stomp. He'll sort of leap to you, land on you, and lead a big green fell circle around you, which is fire damage, and it also slows you. You just want to get out of that ASAP. And lastly, Cruel will cast Twisted Reflections. If this gets off, it's kind of GG game over, as he'll heal for 5% and just keep trucking up every hit he gets per 5% every hit, which is bad. You can't get it off him, so make sure you interrupt the Twisted Reflection. Last thing, you're going to have these little purple cutter beams pewing across the platform. These are kind of designed to overwhelm you. Do not get fixated on these. You can jump them really easy. You just jump over. So don't get fixated on them. Don't let them sort of play into your brain and distract you. Just jump over them. I like to hang around the outside of the platform. So if I really wanted to here, there comes that cast, Incap Roar. All these orbs here, if you run into them, these spawn through phase 1 and phase 2. If you run into them, it full heals you and it stuns every single thing on the platform, including delaying Annihilate casts and things like that. So those orbs are awesome. You're low on health, run into one. Your NPCs are getting murdered because the little ads are running over to Valen, or they're going to murder Corvos, which is the NPCs that are helping you out through this fight. If they die, the fight's over, by the way. You can run into an orb and save them with that. Netherstorm going off here. You can see our Incap Roar there. Incap Roar also works on Cruel. Same if you were to take Mighty Bash and things like that is in this as well. You can stun Cruel. You can see here I am caught in a really awkward bit of this. I'm caught on the orb here. If you're jumping over the middle of them, you won't get caught. I got caught on these 2 little orbs, which have a bigger radius to be able to jump over. So just watching out for that. Twisted Reflections going off, making sure I interrupt. Remember, I'm not getting any orbs and I'm not using drums here because I kind of wanted to show you this at full bare bones YouTube wank lord status where, you know, I'm so good I didn't have to get any orbs. But honestly, if you were close in Dragonflight, in Shadowlands, sorry, you will smash through this. It is a lot easier now than it was in Shadowlands. So please, if you've watched this and it's given you a little inkling to have another go, please go and have another go, because you will absolutely spaghetti rafflecopter this challenge now. So that's it. If you need a hand, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. I will help you get this. Like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you all so much. See you later, fam.
Legends, if you really want to help me out and support the channel, please consider pledging to our Patreon. Tier 3 and above will see you getting a name at the end of every single video we create, as well as some hidden perks in the Discord. Thanks so much.